This is my 1969 Suzuki U50, which is like kind of Suzuki's two-stroke answer to a Honda Cub. I've had it 8 years, I think, 2014 I'm pretty sure I got it. And I literally haven't done anything with it because I didn't think that all the parts were with it, and the bits that were missing were really difficult to find. For example, you can find these exhaust downpipes. You see that one's been cut, but I think they're about £80, something like that. So yeah, quite difficult to find bits for, and when you do find them, they're expensive. I recently sold it, and the guy that came to get it got here and said, I've mainly come because I know you've got other bikes. So he bought a purple Maxi off me instead and left me with this, but he did convince me that I'd be able to get it running fairly quickly. That was a week ago, and what he did was he inspired me to actually have a closer look at it, and most of the parts are there. So I figured if I can repair that exhaust pipe with like a clamp-on sleeve or something like that, it might actually be a usable oily rag bike. Here is the advert from when I tried to sell the Suzuki. I also made a couple of more in-depth videos showing the condition of the bike for the buyer. So I'm going to edit those and put those in here so you can see a decent walk around of the bike. His name was Jerry, so if I refer to you as Jerry at any point during the course of this video, that's why. I've started digging out U50 bits. I've not got all of them yet by any means. Firstly, here's the cylinder. I think that's pitting at the bottom there. But it may be glazed. There's quite a bit of glaze in there, so it might hone out, it might not, it might need a rebore. It is a sleeved cylinder by the looks of things, so I don't know if it would be possible to get another sleeve for it maybe. And also, like around the edges of the ports and on the top there, it looks like it's had a bit of hammer, so it might need slight filing or something like that. That's the exhaust stub, unfortunately, that someone's cut quite horrifically. Piston, the rings are stuck, but they don't look like they're stuck that badly. There's quite a bit of blow-by on it. But the good news is, if I can do the kickstart from here, it is not seized. You'll be glad to know, and actually runs quite nicely. Well, it runs quite nicely. It seems fairly smooth on the kickstart at least. But yeah, so that's one less job. It is a bit mucky in there though. It could definitely do with a bit of a flush out, and there's a bit of gasket there as well. But yeah, it's by no means perfect, but it's better than we thought it would be. Okay, so I found another box of Suzuki stuff. We have unknown bracketry, possibly battery bracket actually. Carb bits, so that is the choke basically. Don't think it's called a choke in these, is it? It's like K-Hin carbs where it's an overfueler or something, but anyway, that's there. Speedo cable, chain, I think they'll be replacing that. The all-important cylinder head, which needs a good vapor blast, but underneath it all it's quite solid, it's just a bit powdery on the surface. We've got a side cover for on there. That I think is a Tomos part, but you're welcome to it if you want it. Another side cover for the other side, which covers that bit. So that's where the fuel pump is. Not the fuel pump, the oil pump. That's that cover. More random bracketry that might be part of the first bit. Again, some of these I don't know what they are. Possibly throttle cable. Unknown bolts, presumably engine mounting bolts. And best of all, a key. That is one of the two keys I had, and it's the better one of the two. So the other key does... Ah, here we are. So here's the bike as it is with the leg shields on. Obviously, as I said, they're quite broken unfortunately. You might be able to do something with them, make a mould or repair them somehow. That's just sat on there at the moment. So I'll lift that out of the way so you can see better what the condition of it's like. Just a quick walk round. So it's got the original number plate. As I said, the rear light lens is missing. As you can see, there's a dent in the rear mudguard as well, where it's presumably fallen over at some point before I had it. It's got the rear pegs and everything. The oil tank is present behind this panel here. I don't know how much of the rest of the oil system's there. I think the oil pump was actually attached to the engine still. There's your oil pump, oil tank, and I assume the battery goes in behind there. So this panel is in pretty good condition actually. Just loosely put that back on so I can continue showing you around. One bad point is the fuel tank. I can't see any. Yeah, it looks like it's been welded underneath at some point, which I didn't know until just now. You may find there's pinholes in there as well, but let me see if I can turn the flash on for you. Yeah, so it's not that pleasant inside. It's not had a lid on it for the whole time I've had it, although it's been indoors, so it's not been that bad. But yeah, it's been stored probably for a long time before that without a lid on it as well, undercover where I got it from. So that may well need lining. Worst case scenario, it might be no good and you might need an auxiliary tank, but I don't think it'll come to that. Air filter, there's a screw missing from there. It might well be in that box of bits. The filter's not actually in there, but I do have the filter element which goes in there, so that's not missing. Here is the rest of the carb. So part of it's on the engine, the choke mechanism's in the box, and there's the top part that screws onto the engine and the slide and the other missing bits. Front mudguard is no good, but we have a replacement that's a lot better. No cracks, I don't think, in that one at all, so that should be an easy swap. Here's the engine for the U50. I believe it's a 3-speed kick change, and it's got an oil pump, Lube as it's known. So yeah, the whole time I've had it, the rings have been seized on, and I managed to get them unseized and freed up, and that was what convinced me that actually it is worth doing rather than just selling and making a bit of quick money on it. So I say quick money, I mean it's been 8 years, hasn't it? It's quite dirty, and I've decided that I'm going to try what I call the Musty One method. If you've watched Musty One, my general opinion normally has always been, oh, let's take it apart, let's replace the bearings, let's go through it fresh. Musty just checks what works. So for the price of another gasket set, if this one fails, because I've got a gasket set in there, so for the price of buying another one, I'm going to try flushing it out and hope that the bearings and seals are okay. If I do need to take it all the way apart, then I can do that. Obviously I'll just need a new bearing set, a new gasket set for it. The main problem at the moment, before I put it together, is that it's been full of crap. It's all dust that's had oil in it, and I imagine there's all old oil sat in the bottom as well, probably with stuff trapped in it. Now, I've taken all of it that I can out with a pick and a screwdriver, but as you can possibly see, there is still, focus, there's still plenty more in there. So I've got a cunning plan. I've got some fuel in my little squirty bottle. I'm going to try stand the engine up and squirt fuel in so it runs down that way, and then sit it back the right way up again so it pulls in the bottom, swish it round gently, and then tip it out the bottom, because I'm thinking all the crud will be stuck at the bottom. Do that a couple of times to flush it, and then put some more in and really shake it around, and I'm going to dump it round into that box. So hopefully after that we can get it put together. I didn't film freeing off the piston rings purely because I'm not very good at it, so you don't want to be learning from me, plus the fact if I snapped them I'd have said some quite nasty words. Be rinsing it quite well. Obviously I'm rinsing it in at the moment, which is suboptimal. I'm hoping that means it'll come back out again without much trouble. That's quite fuller than I thought it'd be. There's quite a few crusties in there, so that's a good sign. Let's see if we can get them all to settle in one corner and then see what else comes out next time. Some bits coming out. I think it's just a rinse and repeat job. It's full of all these sorts of little crusty bits of fossilised something. It seems to be improving slightly. In on the action. Can't focus here because my hand's covered in oil, but I think we're about getting there. There's no more stuff coming out. I've just got to clean around the top now. Yum. I can see more or less all the way to the back here. Ooh. I was going to say it's actually coming out quite clean at the back. That just popped out on the conrod. Don't think we need that, do we? But it's good that it's all spewing out from the back, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a bit longer rinsing it out and spinning the crank and hope that it picks up any last bits that are in there. Okay, so I've cleaned it there as well as I can, except that little bit I've just spotted, which I was going to do, so I'm just going to finish off in there and in there, but then I'm going to use the rest of the petrol out of here, which is horrible and not useful for anything else, just to clean the bike up with, or clean the engine up with. Might as well, because it's wasted anyway. And it has got quite a thick layer of shite on it. So, scoop that out and then on with that. Oh, it's a Makuni. I thought it would be a Cayenne. Interesting. That feels quite old. Good catch, eh? Okay, so main jet. I'm going for the main body of it rather than the top part. That's 8mm. Idle jet also 8mm. I don't know if you can see, but main jet isn't actually blocked, which is nice. It's a 100 main jet. That's the, I think I said it was the idle jet, it's not, it's the needle seat there. Then we need a small flat screwdriver for that, and I've just broken mine. No, that won't fit. A ridiculously long one. That fits. So this idle screw was 2.5 full turns out from all the way in. That's that beast. I think that's everything we need off there. Found some more markings. On here it says 2/06112, so that'll be 12mm carb. This is quite hot at 55 degrees. I set it to 45, but the cavitation made it hotter. It's the only bit that's still in the basket, which means I've got to fish around for the rest of it. Alright. It's so murky, you can't see the bottom. Right, that's everything I think. Rinse everything under the tap. It's only elbow grease. Continuing to clean the engine, scraping the big chunks off with a flat screwdriver. This took ages. I can't believe how much crap was actually stuck to that thing. In the end I did get most of it off and give it another wipe over with petrol, and it sort of looked alright, but there is still work to do with cleaning the engine. The next step was to coat the cylinder and piston with two-stroke oil, ready to install the top end on the bike. I'd previously honed the cylinder and it had actually come out quite well. All the glaze and pitting had come off it, so I'm holding out quite a lot of hope that it'll turn out fine and it won't need any more work to the top end. And next up I'm about to put the base gasket on, and then we can put the top end together. Oh, stop gasket set 117005. It's for an A50, but it's the same engine. I'm putting some oil on the base gasket now. I'm not sure why everybody does that, but I do it too. It's either to make it seal better or so that it comes apart easier. You can use copper gasket spray as well, but I use two-stroke. Love it. Here's the cylinder head. I've cleaned all the white stuff off it now and it looks a lot better. I forget the proper name for it, but it's got kind of an offset spark plug, and the spark plug needs to go to the top so that the larger combustion area is pointing down towards the exhaust. So I think we'll leave this one here, guys. There's still plenty of work to do to the bike before I can install the engine and do a first start on it, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.